note for a fact that the Champions League, the second round of matches was set to take place today. So match day one has just officially ended a few minutes back. And I did say, if you'd watched the preview video that I had done earlier, I said that we could very well be in for, of course, some more upsets in that regard. We could very well be up for some more, interesting results. And that's exactly what we've actually gotten. The second round, or the second half of the match day one, has in fact been as interesting as we had expected it to be. So let's quickly go over the results here. One of the first results, of course, that we have to talk about, the main match or one of the main matches that we were focusing on. Inter Milan versus Bayern Munich, and Bayern Munich actually walk away from the San Siro with a 2-0 victory. So again, I didn't quite expect that to happen, but as I said, the thing with Bayern Munich is that they are actually that kind of a side. They can, walk away from anyone's home with 3 points, and the good thing was that they looked very, very good with that victory as well. Again, Leroy Sané opened the scoring, he ended up giving them the lead in the first half. Then later in the second half, an own goal from Danilo, unfortunately, was all that it took, and Bayern walk away with the 3 points. So Inter really was a case of what could have been, or what actually, they didn't really look bad in spells, but I don't think they were as clinical with their finishing as they probably could or should be. And that was something that really reflected poorly on them, at least in this particular match. They did look to be stringing some moves together, but again, if you don't take your chances, then it doesn't matter how many moves you string together. But for me, the biggest surprise, by the way, was what happened with Liverpool and Napoli. I mean, look, I did expect that Napoli will in fact pose a threat to Liverpool, but I did not expect them, I did not expect them to end up losing in that level. I mean, let's just be frank that Napoli, going into the halftime whistle, could have actually been at least 4-0 up, if not 5-0 up. Remember, were it not for Alisson actually saving that second penalty, which had Liverpool had given away, and remember, both times it went to a additional VAR check. The referee had to go and actually consult the monitor at the side of the pitch. If it were not for the second VAR check, in fact, if it were not, in fact, against, if they didn't actually get that penalty right, if it were not for Alisson actually saving that match, I think it could have very well been a bigger defeat for Liverpool. And actually, there's a lot of questions to be asked if you are a Liverpool fan. I mean, Liverpool fans would be asking a lot of questions. I said earlier in the match, if you guys had watched the preview, I'd said that, for Napoli, this is as good a time as any in terms of course, them getting, a result against Liverpool. So get a result against Liverpool, and that's exactly what happened. So they didn't just get a result. I mean, beating Liverpool 4-1, and it could have been more than that were it not for, of course, Luis Diaz scoring that goal for, that consolation goal, you can say, in the second half for Liverpool. So a lot of questions to be asked if you're a Liverpool fan, but if you're a Napoli fan, I hope you enjoyed that, because that was a very good performance. Now let's quickly go over the other results over the day, as I see some of you in the comments pointing out that, Barcelona, and it was, to be fair, expected that they'd beat Victoria Pilsen, but 5-1, my goodness, this Barcelona side are looking imperious. And it's one thing actually, look, we know for a fact that they've actually had to sacrifice, or in fact, give up some of their future earnings, some of their future, revenue sources, what they call activating the economic levers to actually get some money now. But it's a risk that they took, and it's a risk that looks to be paying off, because those, the team looked very, very good. Lewandowski was, of course, looking very, very good. So every single, so obviously, I think in that sense, every single move that they've done so far has been so good. Let's, give them some credit there in that regard. I'll answer your questions in a bit, guys. I seem to be getting a few of them. I'm very, very glad, actually, because, I'm very, very happy that you guys are joining me. So let's quickly go over the rest of the results. Early matches of the day: Ajax thumping Rangers 4-0. Mind you, this is the same Ajax that have actually lost Lisandro Martinez and Anthony. It's amazing how well they tend to cope with the loss of players. They thumped Rangers 4-0. I mean, it didn't look like they lost two key players. Very, very dominant performance from them. Eintracht Frankfurt, by the way, who remember are in the competition courtesy of the fact that they won the Europa League last year. They lost 3-0 at home to Sporting Club de Portugal. Again, massive upset result there. I would not have expected Eintracht to have lost this match 3-0, but good showing if you're Sporting Club de Portugal. I mean, what better than getting an away win in such circumstances, right? Atletico Madrid ended up beating 10-man Porto 2-1, and this was a pretty cagey affair for the most part, but that's the case a lot of times with, of course, Atletico Madrid matches. But of course, the fact that they get a 2-1 win, good in them. Club Brugge beat Leverkusen 1-0, and by the way, last but not least, Tottenham ended up getting a 2-0 win over Marseille, and it was that man Richarlison, of course, who, with two late goals ended up arguably, getting Spurs the 3 points. And Richarlison, by the way, is someone who I don't think we talked about enough as a player. A lot of people tend to say he's a bit overrated, but I don't see it. He's a hardworking player, gets you goals on occasions. He's someone who brings a different dimension to attack. I mean, one of the things that people used to say about Spurs was, they can be a little one-dimensional or predictable at times with Son and Kane. So Richarlison adds a different dimension to this attack, and he's proving that he can actually be doing it at the highest level as well. Remember, he hasn't really played Champions League football much before this, if at all. And he's actually adjusted pretty effortlessly. I mean, he's fired 2 goals against Marseille, who are by no means a weak side. So I'm seeing a lot of you guys give or ask me how about my sleep pattern. In fact, Satyam Sharma is asking, "Oh my God, Shane, at what time do you sleep?" And I think I saw some other comments. Let me just go over quickly. Charles De Silva says, "These guys work tirelessly." Guys, seriously, it's not work. For the most part, I'm going to be watching these matches any which way. And it just seems a little, it seems more like work now because obviously, you have the Asia Cup going on. So that is a, around this schedule thing. But honestly, I was watching these matches and I'm like, yeah, I'll just join you guys. We can have a bit of a chat. So that's always the fun thing. So in that sense, I'll just take a couple more of you guys' comments, I can't get your name, but you're asking, can we also please talk about Sergio Roberto's form as of late? Yeah, guy's transforming himself from a lot more than just a super sub at this point, so good on him in that regard. Sanket Joshi says, great work, Shane. Thanks to you. I'm glad you enjoy the work. Just keep supporting us and we'll keep putting in the work. Rakshit Malhotra asks, what do you make of Inter? Very, very interesting. Honestly, I thought they were a bit wasteful in the sense that I do think that, they did have spells in possession where they look decent. Again, considering they have the likes of Lautaro up front, I think that they could be doing better than what they did. But the thing with Bayern is, they're the kind of club who can punish you when of course, they get one chance, 2 chances, just in that, and they do take their chances. Akash Desai is clearly very happy that Atletico actually ended up winning, their match. So happy for you, man, if your team ended up winning it. Liwa, my man, will save us Qs from the agony. I mean, so far, in that sense, Lewandowski has not looked like he's missed a beat when he's walked into, that Barcelona side. I thought he might take a little bit of time in terms of, maybe adjusting to the style or the demands of Xavi or the demands of the league. Another thing, he's just gone in there and start scoring. I'll take this last question from Sanket Joshi and then we'll wind up because quite frankly it is a bit late. Sanket saying, who would be your favorites in the next week's fixture of Barca versus Bayern? That's a very good question. I don't have a favorite in that match because that's the thing. I think both of these guys, both of these teams actually have looked really, really good. But if I'm saying, I think I'd give a 51% edge to Barca right now. And that's no disrespect to Bayern. It's just the Bayern at times, for me, they tend to have these, phases of inconsistency, at least so far under Nagelsmann. Whereas Barca look a lot more consistent and deadly than, what Bayern do right now. So anyway, that's it for this week of, the UEFA Champions League. It's been a very, very eventful match day 1. We'll be, of course, so don't forget to keep joining us in Sports Today as we keep on, as I said, putting in the work. There's going to be a lot more sporting action coming up. Remember, India will be playing their final Asia Cup match later or today or tomorrow, depending on how you want to view it. India will be playing. There'll be other stuff to watch out for as well. So join us then. But for now, I'm taking a leave. Thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Don't forget to leave us a comment and, of course, tap the bell icon to know when it is we're going live or uploading a new video for you guys. Please don't also forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're on all those platforms. And last but not least, download the SportsTech app for all the latest sports updates at the tip of your fingers. Thanks so much for joining us. Good night and goodbye.